Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Guild Wars 1 Let's Play. We're here in Silfhala, or Olaf's Day, excuse me, and we are heading out to continue our assistance of the Norns. I apologize again for the couple-day break. I had an exam that I was studying for the past couple days, but we are ending the end of the period, so not much more left to do, thankfully. We have break coming up, so consistency should be back up. Also, I will be trying to have a consistent stream schedule. I know I've been saying that for months, and I will start putting it in the description of the videos whenever I decide what it'll be, at least until I start classes up again next semester, and then we will probably be swapping up the schedule a little bit, but that's for future me to worry about. We are on the hunt, if you remember, to gain the Norn approval for our fight with the Destroyers. The Norn are a little bit different to some of the other races. They don't really have like a single unified government, for lack of a better term, or governing body. They kind of just like rely on well-respected Norn and stuff to kind of lead the culture, so there's no like Norn military. It's more just like Norn factions, for lack of a better term, and we're trying to gain the approval of the leaders of those different factions. We already kind of did with Sif and the whole Norn bear thing, if you remember. And right now we are going to meet Olaf, who is one of the other great Norn heroes. There's three, I think, in this game. There's Olaf, Sif, and Gunnar. They coincidentally are named after the three main Norn strongholds in the area. So here's Olaf Olafsson. Here's a bit of advice. Never interrupt two Norn in a discussion. Errant backhand comment might knock you right on your feet. If you're in need of allies, then perhaps the Wizard Raven can help you. I'm ready to discuss. I'm always ready to talk. This is the most Norn thing ever. Would you like to discuss? And then they just start fighting you. By a raven's wings, what sort of beasts are these? These are the Destroyers. I thought they knew about these. I knew... It's always a little, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Unsure how much a lot of the individuals in this game know about the plot. Because I'm pretty sure Sif and them were actually talking about the Destroyers. So I think Sif at least knows about their existence, but I thought that Mr. Olaf would have known as well. But I guess I'm wrong about that. But I was under the assumption that he knew about them. Cutscene.
What were those things?
They're called Destroyers. They're the threat we have warned you about.
This is the North. Threats are an everyday part of life here.
I'm afraid this is more than just a passing threat.
What do you mean, Vec?
Given their numbers, I think there's an active gate nearby. One that links back to the central transfer chamber.
Which has been captured by the Destroyers.
Precisely.
Which means all the Norn lands will be overrun. Unless we do something.
Bah! If they show up at my doorstep, I'll greet them with an axe.
My friends mean to say that these destroyers make for a challenging hunt.
A hunt? So why didn't they say so? Come, let's take the fight to them then.
God, Olaf is stupid. It's so funny because the rest of the Norn seem to be like not quite as silly, but Olaf can be a little dumb. More wait in the cave. Let's take the fight to them. My daughter will stand guard here. The rest of you should speak to me when you're ready to enter the shrine. These Destroyers had better be worth the trouble. He's driven to the Raven's shrine. So if you remember, we had the interaction with the where the word I'm looking for. We had the interaction with the bear spirit and the wolf spirit in the past. This is the raven spirit. These are kind of like the three main spirits that the Norn worship at this point in time. Not gonna lie, I was slightly strapped for time, so we probably will be trying to speed through here. I'm trying to remember exactly. I think this dungeon, we're in a dungeon right now, but it's a story mode version of the dungeon, basically. We did that in the Cathedral Flames previously, but this is, I believe it's called Raven's Point. I believe that is the name of the dungeon. I'm just kind of double checking that the other dungeons are named exactly what they're labeled as on the map. Yeah, Cathedral Flames. So yeah, this is Raven's Point. Why does this character have that outpost? Whatever. Uh-oh. Get me out of the AoE. Thank you. So we are essentially making our way towards the Raven Shrine. That does remind me, I do actually have to record some of the dungeons in the area. I have 3 recorded, I think, right now. I can actually check right now. I can just pull up my video. Excuse me. The Shrine of the Raven views you with its blessing. The magic will help you in the hunt. Invoke the power and Raven shall protect you. I apologize. I'm still a little messed up. Yeah, I have 3 of them so far, it looks like. And I could probably easily get more of them, but... So we're just blasting through these destroyers. We should be able to talk to the shrine now. Oh no, there's more that pop up, that's right. There's more that pop up. I always kind of forget this mission because this is always the one I seem to do like after I've already been playing for a whole bunch of hours, and this one always kind of slips my mind. I can just autopilot through it. Alright. I think that should be all. Nope. One more. I swear these used to spawn quicker. Maybe I'm crazy. But see, they're level 28, so these destroyers are actually quite a threat, even in normal mode. Even though it doesn't necessarily seem like it, but like, at least compared to a lot of the other enemies. Okay, Raven's Blessing. Let's grab the Raven's Blessing. So much like the bear and the wolf, the Raven is just a unique set of skills. By the Great North Wind, that was the battle. Thank you for your help. Raven's Shrine is now secure. Our pleasure. Now you see these destroyers threaten us all. They fight with the strength of tear bears. They may just be worthy opponents of a Norn. We need to find the Asuran Gate. Which way? The patience of a badger, small one. The object you call a gaze at the heart of the temple. Follow the steps of these destroyers to it. That's a cool mechanic. You just kind of follow the destroyers. And eventually get up there. So let's talk a bit about the Raven skills. The Raven skills are, like, to be honest with you, the worst of all the summons, or all the different forms. You have one that applies a bleeding and cripple effect, one that removes blind from allies, one that means you can't be knocked down, which is important for these tremors, but really isn't super strong outside of that. So out of all the forms, this is kind of the weakest of the ones, at least in my opinion. So I'm not sure how much I'm going to actually be using it throughout this mission. It's a fact isn't even like it is an AoE ability, but you have to be so close because it's adjacent. Not just like nearby, so like let's see. I think I probably could AoE. Yeah, I could AoE all if I hit the center guy there. It's not bad. It's still armor ignoring damage, which means it's pretty good. In the past, the bear, I'm pretty sure I mentioned this, the bear used to actually be a pretty competitive elite back in the day, many years ago. But with some changes and some nerfs, all of them are kind of just okay. They're not awful, but they're kind of just flavorful at this point. It's quite interesting, though, that the only race, or the only one of these PvE only groups to get elite skills was the Norn. I do think they're pretty cool, but I almost would have rather them been like the dervish elites that transform you to the different gods and just kind of give you a different damage type and like a different bonus. I kind of wish they would be like that, but I get why they changed your bar because they're PvE only, right? So the idea is you want them to be the same on every class, or affect every class in a similar way, I guess is the way I should word that. So that's why they're the way they are. Yeah, the Raven form isn't awful, it's just not the best. Like, if you have a pretty okay build, your build is probably better than this one. The immune to bleed, or the immune to blind is quite interesting, because I'm not actually sure there are enemies that can blind you in this dungeon. There's blurred vision on some of the water elementals. Not water elementals, excuse me. Ice imps. But that's not a true blind, that's a hex, so that doesn't affect that. I don't think any of the destroyers have blind skills, but maybe I'm wrong about that. I do really love the look of this dungeon. These big chasms, like, the dungeons are super awesome. You do have to regain the blessing every floor, which is the little weird part, but the dungeons are very cool. They're very unique locations, and even though there's a lot of reused assets between them, they still generally end up feeling pretty unique. There's a couple where you could really kind of tell the reused assets between the dungeons, but most of them have their own unique set pieces that kind of separate them from the other dungeons. Let's see if I remember exactly where we're going. I think we're going up here to the left. Yeah, through this door. It's been a while since I've been in here. But, like, I really love the icy caverns. You know, Guild Wars 1 doesn't have a lot of areas where you're, like, actually inside of something. So, this kind of makes these dungeons pretty unique. And that you're actually inside of something. So I think we... You know what? I'm just going to keep following the enemies. Generally, it's a good idea to just keep following enemies. Where you see enemies, just go that way. That's probably the way they want you to go. But some of these dungeons can be a little labyrinthy if you don't know where you're going. Which I'm sure you'll definitely see in the dungeon series, where we're actually going through all these dungeons in the post game. You'll see me get lost a couple times. Not necessarily on the dungeons like that were run a lot back in the day, but there are definitely some dungeons that I have literally never done in my life because I really only was a speedrunner. So any dungeon that didn't have like a super conventional speedrun, I didn't do a lot. The second floor is really short on this one, at least to the story mode version. All right. Let's keep on going. Actually, I should check. Does Zenmai have max daggers? She doesn't, so maybe whenever I go back, I'll pick up those Talon daggers that I got as a drop. Oh, I forgot to grab the blessing from Olaf. These walls give me very much Jade vibes. In fact, they look even kind of like Jade from Factions. A little weird, to be honest with you. Does not very give me they at least changed the color a little bit so it's not got the transparency like effect that the Jade has, but I still just can't help but see the Jade whenever I look at it. I think this ends with a defend mission, but I could be wrong about that. I'm trying to remember where you actually go for this. I think it's through here. It's a little weird. Alright, let's keep going. Yeah, there's the Assyrian gate. So I think we just have to clear this area. At last, the gate, I suspected it's overrun by destroyers. We need to wreck the gate. We saw Vec do this at Boreal Station. Keep those destroyers off us. We'll shatter the gate in no time. Hopefully someone has a res for our healer. Yeah, okay. I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure I put enough reses on the characters. Like, yeah. At least 3 or 4 people should have reses. This is actually, I think you could actually just rush the gate here and kill the gate. And that ends the mission, but we're gonna clear out some of these destroyers first just so we don't wipe from some unforeseen issues. I feel like this gate, it's weird to have an object be like an actual health bar in this game. There's only a couple places where that's actually used. I feel like it also has skills for some reason, and I don't know why. Let's try to blow up that Trevor before it knocks us down in some AoE like it did last time. Okay, I don't think it actually has skills. I think it just summons destroyers. Let's just clear these destroyers first. Yeah. Screw it. We should just be able to kill the gate at this point. I wonder if I can lay my spirits and then go into the a raven for? That's actually an interesting question. I wonder if that's a way to min-max.
That was a battle worth fighting. These destroyers are worthwhile foes.
He seems happy.
A Norn only does what a Norn chooses to do. Pity your dwarf does not quite understand that.
So, my friend, will you gather your forces together to fight the destroyers?
I will gladly tell others what wonderful prey they are.
But will you gather an army?
How does he not understand by
Norn
now?
have no need of armies. We are Norn.
Great dwarf, give me strength.
Olaf, it was a good hunt. My friend wants to hunt more, but he is not Norn. He needs more people to
We
help.
come in with the diplomacy.
Is that all? I know your king, little dwarf. I can send a message to him. Will that do?
Yes, yes, that will.
That's pretty cool. Go Burb.
I will send a message to Jealous Ironhammer. I will tell him to meet you near the human encampment, near your Eye of the North. It will take some time.
I don't know what to say.
I do. Thank you, Olaf, seventh son of Olaf. You have done us a great favor. You are welcome to hunt destroyers anytime.
Just try and stop me. Off you go.
So I guess like part of the story here is that Ogden didn't really have the power to go tell the king, but considering the destroyers are like quite legitimately a game, like a world-ending threat, it's a little weird that he doesn't like contact him himself. Although, so because you could go to either side of the Norn at first, Olaf should understand how the Norn work by now because we already finished the Jorah side. But since you don't necessarily have to finish the Jorah side first, you can finish Olaf's side first. They kind of have to write it in a way where it makes sense you go either way. So I think that's why he kind of doesn't understand, despite the fact that he's already been told basically the same thing by Jorah multiple times. Jorah. Just keep saying Jorah because I'm thinking of the Magic the Gathering card. But anyway, that's going to be all for today. I want to thank you all for coming out. I hope you have a great day, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.